Yo, I ain't here to pander, I'm here to fracture the script. Where the truth got twisted to the syntax slip. They said, state your pronouns, I said, state your proof. Cause the language of the lost don't dictate my truth. It's AshCipher, I decipher the myths of the tribe. Where the vibe got hijacked by hashtags and pride. You call it progress, I call it confusion on stage. New act, the same mask, just rebranding the cage. Binary, non-binary, I see the irony. You redefine reality, then call it propriety. Man, woman, myth, fiction. Every line an affliction, your diction is fiction. Contradiction, addiction. I grew up on logic, not feelings for metrics. Where the grammar was sacred, now it's moral aesthetics. I'm not a villain, I'm chillin' with factual rhythm. But truth today's a crime if it don't fit your algorithm. You want inclusion? Cool, be whoever you be. But don't force illusions as objective decree. You feel both sides fine, we all mix traits. But feelings don't rewrite biological states. The crowd chants tolerance, the mob roars compliance. Politeness is weapon, obedience is science. We traded sense for slogans, nuance for noise. Now, truth's a trigger, and thoughts a void. I'm the ghost in your seminar, logic in disguise. Why they moralize emotion till the meaning dies? You're human, so am I, that's the simplest clause. But you built a tower of terms to mask your flaws. Yeah, they say gender's a spectrum, but the range don't change the source. You can paint a signal different, but the wavelength stays the course. Pronouns ain't progress, they theater for the crowd. Virtue in a tweet, but silence in the shroud. You preach, live your truth, I nod, then reply. Just don't demand my mouth become your alibi. I'm the outlier, fire in the syntax zone, where free speech bleeds through microphones. They said watch your tone, I said watch your facts. Cause the truth don't bend to the trend of the tax. Now they rewriting data, distorting the frame, erasing the sexes in the name of a claim. Stats skew, words glued to ideological fuse, where compassion got fused with delusion and abuse. Journalists calling them her in the same report. In the courts not alone like truth's a sport. Medical files scrubbed clean of sex-based clues, and babies born dead cause the record refused. This ain't hate, this is clarity. I'm airing disparity. Reality ain't cruel, it's your fear of sincerity. They say be kind, but they mean stay quiet while they riot in your thoughts. Dressed up as diet, I don't bend, I don't trend. I transcend the pretend. I'm not a friend to deceit or a means to an end. If truth is transphobic, then the mirror's a crime. Cause reflection itself still defines the line. I'm a cipher, I break codes, not consent. But the lexicon's weaponized for social assent. Preferred, don't make it law, it's suggestion and drag. Now I'm tagged for dissent like a heretic flag. I speak with evidence, not emotion spin. If it's taboo to ask questions, that's how lies win. They call it empathy, but it's fear in disguise. You comply or you cast, labeled unwise. Freedom ain't courtesy, it's duty in verse. To protect what's real before it's reversed. I ain't your ally or enemy, I'm the mirror you dodge. A human named James, not a hashtag mirage. See the movement, lost movement, it's looping in pride. Fighting phantoms while truth got tied. They built idols of feelings, crown pain is proof. And now reasons accused of emotional abuse. I'm tired of the gaslight, the grammar war stage, where the Oxford rules kneel and syntax is caged. You want revolution, cool, then start with the core. Stop policing thought like a linguistic war. Gender ain't evil, but the cult's a disease. It infects free minds and demands they appease. Every day them ritual, each high. My pronouns are as a signal of surrender to a state bizarre. I don't hate, I decode, I ain't rage, I'm precise. I see language decayed by political vice. I spit facts like scalpel cuts through disguise. To remind the world truth never dies. AshCipher, James Parker, name spelled in defiance of conformity cloaked in alliance. I'm not your savior, not your foe, not your friend. I'm the echo of logic that refuses to bend. So when they ask, what are your pronouns, bro? I say, truth, reality, facts, you should know. Cause my grammar ain't guilty, my voice ain't a crime. And I own tree biology, but I wrote time. Call it culture roasting, I call it realize. When words moves mean, if you lose your mind. This is pronoun, it's this a me can fight. Where truth bleeds, he can talk. This feels like you can cancel the man, but not the man. The waste, the path, the womb gap, the man. The black Steve stole it, the play of the line. AshCipher, side attack just arrives.